Right, I think this is where I left the our HTML page the last time we had a look. I think I might have added one or two extra things to it. I've added a sort of a copyright thing down here and a contact us. Let me just show you how they work. I basically put in the footer. I've got two paragraphs here. This I set up a couple of little classes that you tend to use a fair amount. Let me just show you where they are. This one here is any tag which has got a class of float left is going to be floated left, and any tag which has got a class of float right is going to be floated right. You tend to use those a reasonable amount, so I always have a float left and a float right, and in fact I've used them. If I go back to home page, if you look at the footer here, which is the green bit at the bottom, I've got a paragraph called float left, and that's the way you get the copyright symbol. You do and COPY and then a semicolon, and that gives you that weird looking C thing there. And I put some text to help me out to 2012, and then I did another paragraph tag, and this I gave the class of float right, so it floated it all the way over here, and I put a little link to a contact page and saying contact us. Actually, I've noticed the contact page is a capital C. Let me just change that there. Contact, there we are, is a contact, and that's that over there. So that's the only, I suppose, the only extra thing I've added to this web page. Well, as we start to, if we look here now, I'm starting to build up a number of web pages here, so at some point I've got to think about navigation, how people can actually drive their way around this site. And if you look on page, whatever it is of the manual, page 180 of the manual will give you some idea of navigation styles. There's three main ones there. The one I'm choosing is, I'm going to choose for this is a straightforward hierarchy style. You read about it in the manual when you and for when you do your assignment. But I'm going to put a straightforward navigation bar in here. And basically across sort of underneath the blue box there with a frog in it, and I'm just leaving the colours in and the lines around it, just so you can see where the sections are. When we release this into the wild as a website, we'll change all these so the colours are perhaps a bit more of a suitable colour scheme. But I'd like a navigation bar in there, and I'd probably like the navigation bar to allow me to go to things like home, contact, and you know, buying and so forth in there. So what I need to do is I want to find the gap between the div between the blue bar here and then when these three columns start, and that's basically over here. We've got the top bar is the frog and the login stuff, and then we've got the main block, and it's just in there. That's where I want to put this navigation bar. And just to test that I've got the right place, if I just put a little bit of text in there and just see, does that text now appear? If I turn Control S that, let's just check that appears in the right place. There we are. So we want the navigation bar in this bit. That was just a quick test. Okay, so the way you set up a navigation bar, in olden days you used to have to do this with a Shockwave and Flash and rollovers, and that's not really how you design navigation bars nowadays. Navigation bars are a lot cleaner, whereby you'll do the markup in your HTML side here, and then you'll do all the styling in a style sheet. So, excuse me. So we're going to set up the navigation bar, and we're going to do it as an unordered list, and then we're going to stick some list items in here. So if I do put a list item in here, and I'll not put the links in yet, just let's call this item 1, just so you can see what's going on. And let me just take that there, Control C, and oh blast, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, something like that. Items 1, and let me just change it to 2, 3, 4. There we are. And if I Control S that, let's have a look over here. So we can see our list doesn't look like a great menu at the moment, but we're sort of getting there. So I'm going to now change this for the anchor tags, which will refer to those specific pages. So now I want a href equals, and let's have the first link. I suppose I want to be back to my home page. So home page.html. And let's put in that, so it says home, and then item 2 we're going to have says a href equals, what else do I want there? Let's go to computer basics. So basics, basics.html, and well, let's call it computer basics. Something like that. This one here, in fact, what I'll do is I'll just rip off that tag there, just make life a bit easier for me. Control C, stick that in here, Control V, and I'll change the home page to, what else have I got here? Computer basics, home, computer basics, contact, sale and contact. How about that? Something like that. Sale and there's items for sale, and then this one here we'll have as a href. Contact us, something like that. Control S that. Let's have a look over here. Okay, so now we've got these links here, and they should all work. There we are. It's I just copied the same web page over, so I haven't bothered changing the underlying web pages. But those links work. Now, what we'd like those to be is like a horizontal bar that does nice flashy things for us. The other thing is that I would probably like one of them to be a drop down and have further things in it. So, for instance, I've got computer basics. I've got setting up and installing software. I'd probably like those as sub pages. So what you actually do, you can do the following. You can say computer basics, and then under in that particular item, oops, let me just go back here. Something's going on. Let me just pause. Phone ringing. Okay, but where am I? Let's go back here. So what I'd like is now is a sort of a sub list inside this list here. So you just do another sub list. It's an unordered list, and it's going to have a couple of things in there. Let's do li, and we're going to put a href equals what did I have in setting up and installing software. So let me just change it. Bear with me while I just change that. I prefer that to have no gaps at all in it. So call that setting up. Make life easy, and that one we'll call rename that to installing software. There we are. And let's go back here. So this is up.html, and this is setting up, and we'll have another list in here which is /li ahref, and call this, what did I say, installing software. Something like that. And let me just make this a bit wider, and I'll just neaten everything up so you can see sort of how the structure of this bit looks. If I do text effects, HTML tidy, and just tidy it up for you. Let's have a look now and see if you can see what's going on here. Let me just set this so you can see. It's just HTML tidy is a bit too vicious at times, so I'll just sort of neaten it up for you so you can see the structure. And then this structure is done basically. We've now got a tab that, something like that. Tab that. And so that's roughly how the structure works. So you've got this list here, and it's got that item, sale items and contact, and then you've got under this one here we've got another couple of items here. Let's just tap that over so you can see that. Another couple of items there. So that's the structure of it. Let's just have a look, and if I control S that, let's have a look over here and see that works now. F5. There we are. And so you can now see your home, computer basics, and then we're hoping for a drop down of setting up, installing software, items for sale and contact. So that's how you set up the structure of the actual web page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into two halves. This video, I think I'm coming up to the 5-minute mark now. So I want you to set up that. If I put a little marker in, where are we? Let's just break this up now and call it /div id. Not give it, actually, we'll not give it an ID at the moment, and you'll see why. You'll see why I'm not going to give that an ID at the moment. /div. There we are. So that lot, if I just press that tab, there we are. So I want you to set up that bit, top bit of menu, all the way down to that bit, bit of menu, and set up the bits in between those two, and I'll join you in part 2 in a second.